These are not the papers you are looking for. I don't know if you heard this story, but a couple of, I don't know what you call them, not do-gooders, maybe they're Jedis in training. They decided to test the reliability and trustworthiness of some of these scientific journals that have been publishing articles about everything from global warming to the effect of caffeine on the body. You know how it goes out of these scientific journals that trust the experts and publish these things so that the rest of us will trust what they say as well. Well, they put together a bogus scientific report, which was authored by a Lucas McGeorge, and also another play on Anakin Skywalker. It was in there too, Anakin. Anyway, this bogus report was filled with references to Star Wars, both characters and place names. And the whole point of it was that it was a bogus article. I'm not even sure what it was about. I'm not even sure the authors knew what it was about. The whole point of it is that they wrote it in that flowery, scientific-sounding jargon, and they just wanted to see if anybody would actually catch that it was not really a scientific article whatsoever. What they found was that several of the American publications that routinely publish so-called scientific articles published this as if it was also a scientific article. Now, this has several implications, of course. The first and foremost being that you cannot trust what you read in scientific journals. Some people already knew that. I mean, at this point in my life, I'm realizing I can't trust much of anything I read, whether we're talking about mainstream media or fake news or alternative facts or something called science, whatever. People write things that use language that intentionally obfuscate and make the issue or whatever it might be, whether it's a point they're trying to make, they have their own agenda. They take the issue and they confuse it, and they confuse the reader to the point they are left saying, oh, well, whatever they're saying, it must be true because they're using really big words. The other implication, of course, is that perhaps we should start questioning what is called science with the same kind of eagle eye that people are now questioning what is called news, which is good. I mean, generally speaking, I think that's a good thing. You recall the old story Hans Christian Andersen had about the emperor's new clothes, right? You remember that? These two charlatans came into town, and they introduced this fabric that they were weaving as being of such high quality that it was only visible to people of the utmost intelligence and highest qualifications. And of course, because people don't like to prove to others that they aren't as qualified as the others think they are, everyone pretended that they could see the fabric. When someone came in and saw nothing there, but everybody else acting like they could see it, well, they acted like they could see it too, and this went all through the chain, all of the emperor's advisors, all the way up to the emperor himself. And of course, when the emperor put on this finely made fabric for which the, what do you want to call them, scientists, researchers, charlatans, had received all this money from the emperor to make this fantastic robe, when he went outside, paraded in it, the only person who pointed out that the emperor had no clothes was a child. A child who didn't care what other people thought about them, who didn't have that pressing idea of, oh, somebody's going to reject me for realizing that I'm not as smart as they are, or as smart as they think they are, or as smart as I think they are, whatever. Point is this: once the child pointed out that the emperor was wearing no clothes, everybody else realized, oh, ha ha, he's parading around in his underwear, and then they laughed as well. And the whole point of that story isn't about the emperor's pride. It's about the pride of the everyday man who's unwilling to admit when somebody's using a word that they're not sure of what they mean. When somebody is not willing to take a stand and up for something that's unpopular. When somebody is not willing to say, I think you're full of bunk. Thankfully for this study, we now see that there are a lot of folks in so-called scientific circles who are the same way as those charlatans and as the other people who didn't have the courage to point out that the emperor had no clothes. So, my hat's off to Lucas McGeorge.